Funny how an accident with glass could lead me to make this artwork. And another one as well. Stay tuned and watch me do this. Hello Gelli fans! I always recommend putting the gel plate on a piece of glass or plexiglass to be able to register it better onto the paper you want to print on, and it doesn't wobble around so much. And this is what happened to me the other day when I pressed down the real glass too hard. And what if, you already guessed it, I print that broken glass as a design? To print on a larger paper and have clear borders of the print, I will put on this matte board frame Passepartout, and then I can also register the blank paper better, like this. I'm starting by making a background, and I'm using the golden bronze that I just bought, and I'm not very happy with this paint, with this color, because it's too dark, so I'm adding just a little bit of fluid acrylic in white. Rolling this out, it kind of turns into a gray, which was not my intention. So I'm adding just a little bit more of that bronze. So I'm placing on the matte board frame. I just have a few, 1 millimeter to each side or so. And when I put down the paper, you have to be careful to go in all the edges and all the sides, so that it makes contact in the edges, but you can clearly see I didn't do a very good job of this. Now I want to print the glass, and I'm using also a new color that I bought. It's a Van Dyke brown, very dark brown, and it has this hue. It's a little golden, I think. Well, the brand is called Golden. It's the Golden Open, and they're slow drying, and that's why I love them so much, because they stay wet so long. And you have all the time in the world now to work on this. Be especially careful, because you can cut yourself real easy. It's just a thin foil that I taped the glass to, and yeah, just be careful. I am slowly and carefully taking off the glass, not just because I don't want to hurt myself, also because I want to use it again, and I want it to stay on the foil for that. So this looks rather nice already. I'm placing the frame, and now I'm placing the other print that I just made. Sorry, I didn't show it before. And here you can see the result, and there's not a lot of the gray that stayed, the gray bronze. This is basically the golden brown, but it's a good print. Look at the glass effect. It doesn't really look like glass. You could probably paint it to look like glass if you put a little white as a reflection on it. There's quite a nice ghost print left on the gel plate, and I'm picking this up with a iridescent medium. It's a golden medium. It looks like pure gold now, but it's really just a medium. It works very well as a pickup paint. So I'm picking up the gel plate and turning it around to place it on the paper. Don't worry, this time it's plexiglass. And it's funny, as I'm revealing the print, you can see that there is even a ghost turning up of the first print, the gray color that I mixed. And it's visible more in this ghost print than in the real print before. So that's funny. And I love it. It's inspiring. And it's shimmering gold. I dug out some older liquid color that I used used to use for acrylic pouring. It's a color by Vallejo or Vallejo. I really don't know. Vallejo. And it's a trans oxide red. And I want to use this for the background now. Putting on the mat board and placing the paper. Yeah, and I got into all the edges this time, so this is a good background. And of the same brand, I have an ivory black here, a fluid color as well. And I want to print the glass with this one. Very easy to roll out as it's fluid. And I'm getting the glass, placing it down, rubbing it in again, especially at the rims of the broken glass. And now, look what happened here. I cut myself. There's blood. That's not paint, it's blood. I'm bleeding for art. No, really, please be careful when you do this, okay? Not like me. Stupid. And I was distracted by the blood, and I can already tell that this is too dark to leave a good impression, or in other words, it takes away too much of the background. So this one is not that nice, but some people like it very dark, so it's okay. Now I want to try that red color again, but this time I want to make the background a little more interesting by mixing the red with the gold metallic medium. Putting on the frame, placing the paper, and taking a nice print. By the way, do you notice those 3 little scratches in the middle? The glass tore a little piece of 3 little pieces of the Gelli plate. So these 3 will be in every print I make from now on. Great. So I pretend not to have noticed that, and I just go on with the black paint again, the fluid paint again. Notice there's a lot of resist going on there now, probably because of all the different paints I used. That doesn't matter though. Placing the glass, and see, I've cut my finger yet again on the same finger. I don't know how I do this. Anyway, this looks much better, like we keep something from the background more than the first trial. And yes, that looks good and inspiring to make a landscape. Looking at this again now, I think that it should have been underwater landscape really. But I didn't notice that, and I've done it already. But we start to work out with the other one, with the golden pickup paint, and the gray it took from the first print. I'm working out some shapes to see where they're leading me. Here are the 3 little glass scratches. And yeah, so I'm trying to see what this is. It's probably a landscape. Crazy, still doesn't look like glass. It looks more like a lightning bolt or something like that. Anyway, I'm working out some more shapes, and these are, I think they look like eggs in a pan, sunny side up, don't they? I give them a little more dimension by creating shadow and highlights. Yeah, my new 3-piece brand. By the way, if you're not a fan of the working out part, wait a little while, because I'm gonna print more on this one. To be able to create a landscape out of this, I need a horizon. So I'm thinking about where to put it. Ideally, you always do like you have 2/3 and 1/3. Either 1/3 of the sky or 1/3 of the ground. But for some reason here, I don't want this, and I make it sort of half and half, which is not good for a composition. But hey, I want to do it anyway. More sunny side ups on this side. And I want to talk a little about the structures you see that have developed here and that I'm strengthening. The sunny side ups is a typical thing when you have something smooth, like glass, pressing on a wet paint that has not dried yet. Those sunny side ups are typical of it. And also you see the little small decalcomania things that I'm working out here that are all over the place. That also has to do with that it's a fluid, even a golden open paint, and that you pick it up with a smooth side. You can, instead of glass, you can use a plexiglass or foil or whatever, which I've featured in other videos. For some highlights, I'm coming in with a fabric marker in white. It always works very well on the prints. And if you feel like you've put on too much white, you can also always, if you're quick, you can smear it off again. Now I want to print something down there, so I have to strengthen those rays or whatever they are, so that I can mask them with my masking sheet paper. It works sometimes because it's you can see the patterns through it, but in this case there's not enough contrast. So what I'm doing is, this is kind of a fiddly work. I'm just trying to mask out the areas that I don't want to get any print paint on. And I hope you can see this well enough. It's very fiddly, and really you have to go back and forth and back and forth just to go along this organic structure. These little stripes, I've eyeballed and cut them out, and I'm taking them along the bolts or rays or roots, probably. And as I know how stupid I can get, I want to protect the other areas as well with some paper. I always manage to smear something, no matter what I do. And now I want to jelly print a fabric pattern. I think this is a gift wrapping band or so. I have other structured textile things as well, but for this I want to use that wrapping band. So I'll spread out the paint evenly, or halfway evenly, and you'll notice that I left just a little too much paint on it. You'll see that in a minute. So I don't want to cut this band, so I'm just placing it on like this and taking the excess color off. Not enough, so I try again. And as you can see on the left part, there's a little too much paint, but it's all right. And it's barely recognizable, but this is my masked off piece of paper that I want to print on. I'm turning the packet around and rubbing from the paper side. Taking everything off, which is real easy. The masking sheet never takes off any paint or parts of the paper. It's really good material. So as long as it's still a little wet, I take a little bit of paint off with a tissue and even come in with a baby wipe and wipe something away. But as you can see, you have to be really careful not to lose your pattern down there. Defining a little bit of the horizon line there and working it into the ground. And as I've taken off a little bit too much with the baby wipe, I'm correcting that again and working some black outlines out again. I like the way that this print turned out. It really looks like a stony underground. Perfect. And look who's got the same color as the print. Yeah, this is always my favorite part. I haven't printed this with a Passepartout frame, and so you get the torn edges that the Gelli Plate itself produces. And I love that. I'm taking this away because I don't like it anymore. And now there's something missing. I think I need a moon. And I'm thinking about a structure, making a moon, trying to make a moon, a round sphere out of these fabric stencils. They're sort of a stencil, but they're really just fabrics. And lace, like lace. So I thought, I don't know, I could make a collage out of this. Especially the blue one I like with the brown print. But I want to see how it looks if I put a transparent white underneath it. Not satisfied. Not satisfied. So I'm turning to a paperback that I have. And this is not real vintage. These are not original paper ads, but they're made in a historical way and I like them. So I'm cutting out a moon of this, and at first I thought I'd glue it onto it like that, but I have a better idea. As I want to yet make another print, I have to mask off some of the elements in that area because I want the moon behind those. So I'm transferring the shapes to a transparent sheet of paper and then transfer that to the masking sheet. It works really well again. Sorry, the newspaper ad moon I don't want to use for this print anymore, but I'm going to use it on the other one later. For now, I've just made a copy of that lace on my laser printer so that I can print it. And I'm using just a tiny tip of masking tape to take out smeared black from the inside of the lace, so to speak. So I've printed it on, and I'm taking the masking sheets off, those little pieces, and it doesn't look like a moon at all. So I'm thinking about making a white layer, transparent white layer, and to mock it, I'm putting this transparent paper. And I'm outlining the moon in white with this lid that I've used before. And drawing a white layer with a Caran pencil so that the moon looks a little transparent. I'm treating it differently in the upper side than in the lower side. And I will change that again a little later. In the ground part of the moon, I'm actually creating some shadows with a brown pencil. It's very subtle, but I think it works. Why is the moon visible in the ground? We don't know. We also don't know why these stones over there are visible in the ground. There's a few sunny side ups, small ones that I forgot. So now it looks like this, and it's too busy for my liking. And I'm trying to diffuse the black paint in the upper side of the moon a little bit with more white, and that makes the eggs stand out more. I like it better this way. What do you think? I think it's a fantastic piece of art. And you can purchase this one in my shop. The link is under the info box below. And now for the workout of this one. I am also going to print on this again. And first I'm going to work out some lines. And I'm changing from the pencil to a fine liner. I think I can use it in this one because there's some very dark spots that go with it. Otherwise, I always use the pencil because that black is not so heavy and not so dark. And this horizon line was very obvious because it was there before. I just needed to enhance it. Here is my three-pieced brand. I think I have to throw that plate away. And there are some other shapes underwater, what I now think, that they have to have shadows as well. So thinking about the moon already. And taping this off, masking this off, sorry, for yet another print. I have, this is a copied stencil. I enlarged it. It's a small stencil. And as there was black paint on it, or dark paint, it worked as a laser copy. And I'm going to print that there. So, same. Golden open, same color. Just using half of the Gelli plate. Putting the copied stencil on top of it, then another paper to take the excess paint off. And voila, works fine. So picking up the gel plate again and placing the design exactly where I want it. It's not wide enough, but I can live with that. I could add on the left side, I could add a little more, but I'm just going to leave it like it is. Looks more spontaneous. Taking the masking sheet pieces off. And look on the right side. Why do I always smear? I don't know how this happened. I looked over my film material and I couldn't find where I made the mistake. Whatever. Trying some moons again, especially like the blue one again. But then I decide I really want to use the newspaper ads from the bag that I cut out already. But first I'm going to enhance the stencil shapes a bit. And also there must be some fog coming up there. I guess it's a swamp and not a lake. And here comes a copy that I made of the cutout piece of the bag. And I put the ad moon underneath the Gelli plate so I can see where the paint needs to go. Usual thing, press it on there, and voila, very nice. And I still can't decide which direction. I'm using this one. So not everything transferred, which I actually like a lot, but still I'm gonna work out some parts of this ad moon. So I'm working out this moon once again with a white pencil. Here I'm working out the sponge that is hardly visible. It is an ad for A miracle sponge, it says above it in German. And on the right side, we have a fish, which is halfway in the water, and I still didn't get it. And it says fish on top in German. Strangely enough, it says fish. I gave the moon some dimension with a white pencil, and I also worked out some of the letters of the brand of the miracle sponge. But I erased some highlights that I put on the stones in the earth on the right side, because I didn't want the stones to compete with the moon. They should be pulled back a little. And apart from some fine liner details, that's all I'm doing to this one. I actually thought I'd love to color the rays in gold, but I resisted the temptation. If you want, you can tell me if you have a further ideas for further development of this one. If you want, tell me which one of the two did you like better today. Well, I hope I have inspired you again today, and have fun with the Gelli Plate. And I might not see you for 2 or 3 weeks because of something. I'm getting a second dog. But when I come back, it'll be probably with watercolor video. Maybe Gelli Plate and watercolor combined. So see you then. Bye.